Hello and welcome to Matthew McGrath from Amplify Wellness NI, who today we will be asking some questions as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So let's get started. So the first question, what do you enjoy the most about being an entrepreneur?
What I enjoy the most about being an entrepreneur is the freedom to choose the direction in which I take my business. And that's totally driven by my own passion for other people's health and wellness, just like my own as well. And my belief that anything is possible. It just takes a bit of work and a bit of effort. So it really is just the freedom to drive the business in any direction that I see fit. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I mean that's very interesting actually. Um, so moving on from that, then, what do you find the most challenging about being an entrepreneur?
The most challenging thing, I suppose, that I kind of feel is it's with all of that freedom comes a lot of responsibility in the business and in the role. And for me, it's juggling different aspects of the business I find most challenging, and that's between taking care of the facility itself, my own main job role, managing my time, the marketing, the networking. It's just a lot to balance all the time. And with working out in other businesses as well, I work with another local company. It's just the managing of time, I suppose, is the biggest thing. I'm very busy at the minute, working 7 days a week, so it takes a lot of time and balancing. So, but I love it, so that's why I do it.
What have been your most significant failures and what did you learn from them?
This question I loved as well. I can't say now it's been, I suppose, like a particular significant failure, but obviously, as we spoke about even before we started recording here, was just the post-COVID kind of comeback for a lot of businesses was the most difficult time. And for me, that was the greatest challenge of all. Just as we came out of COVID, we moved premises and everything as well, and opened a new premises, which was in the pipeline anyway. But coming out of post-COVID, there was a lot of challenge with that. And I suppose like my other thing is I don't really see failures as failures. For me, anything that didn't quite go to plan or work the way you thought it was, it's just a stepping stone. And you just learn to adapt. For me, adaptability in business is key for any business. So I suppose like that's my whole view of failure itself. Failure is not failure; it's just another opportunity to learn.
What do you wish you could have done differently?
Another question I actually quite liked. So for me, I have no regrets about how I done anything, how I started, nothing. For me, it was kind of like my own acceptance of I'd done the best that I could with the information that I had. I'd done the best of when I could do things, how I could do things, and you just make decisions. Along the way, you just make another decision. And if something doesn't quite go the way you thought it was going to go or according to that plan, you just make another decision. It's just that refusal to kind of stop or give up. You just keep going, you find another route. I'm a great believer in setting the goal and being flexible with the path. So you just keep changing and adapting and go for it.
What do you think makes an entrepreneur successful? As in, what is the measure that you think makes it successful?
The measure of a successful entrepreneur. Now, this is something that I do think about or ponder regularly, and for me, it's it's for me that's everyone's own personal definition of success. For one person, success might look like money in the bank. For another person, it's kind of measured in happiness and enjoyment in the work. And certainly, I would probably fall more into that category. I enjoy the journey. I love challenging myself, putting myself out of my comfort zone, and always trying new things. And for me, that's kind of my personal definition of success. For me, I experience success in everyday activity within my work. I suppose that's maybe in line with what my job is I get to work with people daily, and I get to help people with their own health and fitness. And success for me looks like that person feeling better within themselves, and just generally doing better all around every time they come through the door, achieving something they didn't think they could achieve before. That's kind of my own success. Like I resonate with that because certainly that was my own journey from the very beginning in the health and fitness world, you know. So that's my success. Healthy and happy is success to me.
What do you look for when you're building a team, your team?
Yeah, I suppose like in the facility here, I have a lot of other small businesses work along with me now as well. I suppose what I'm looking for with anyone else is people of similar values, people that are passionate about what they do as well. You look for the people with empathy and understanding, and also with a bit of drive in them to keep achieving as well, and to keep following that journey. People who just enjoy the work that they do, and that they choose to do. You can see the passion in people, so I love being around that kind of vibe, that energy. I like that in my workplace, you know.
What do you think then, following on from the team that you're building, what do you think makes an effective leader?
What do I think makes an effective leader? So for me, then that is very much for me, an effective leader is taking responsibility within their role, within their workplace, um, and that's across the board. And that's everything from how they work themselves and how they show others, like the path to take, essentially. An effective leader taking a responsibility from the products and services that they offer, even to the team members. So whenever you have a great leader kind of trains and teaches people how to do the best as well, and how to get the best from themselves, inspiring others to become the best version of themselves. To me, that's a good leader. And again, I've been through plenty of places that for me didn't have that, and again, that's why I suppose I chose to begin all this in the first place. Um, and I kind of feel like I do that in everyday work with my own clients as well. Like the way I kind of see it is we're all leaders of our own lives. We all want to be able to be in the best position possible to lead ourselves through lives, and our friends and our families, even in our own jobs. So to me, that's a leadership, you know.
What advice would you give to someone who is just about to start a business?
Um, well, the best advice I can kind of give is really think about the vision, set your vision in place. And for me, like it was very much like a journey, a process. I had my notebook and all out and growing the vision. It's not like you get there all at once, kind of as you mentioned before. There, like the vision changes and the vision grows, but to set out that core vision, what's your purpose, what's your why for starting it in the first place, breaking that down into smaller, achievable daily tasks or weekly goals or whatever that might be, and also realize that along the way, nothing's always going to go according to plan. Um, but that doesn't mean your goal or your vision has to change. If something doesn't work, you just adapt. I always talk about adaptability, and you just find another way around it. Accept that when you're going to achieve some of these goals, and other ones are going to change. And that just happens even as you grow as a person. That'll change as well. So for me, it's all to do with vision. Just get your vision in the right place and get and understand your why you want to do what you want to do. And it's a big driver for me personally.
What do you consider non-negotiable in your business?
A non-negotiable in my business. I suppose whenever I'm thinking about that, it's about always doing your best. And that sounds like a bit cliche for, I suppose, a lot of people, but honestly, for me, it is that. My number one non-negotiable, I suppose, is empathy within the workplace. And that for me is even with yourself, because sometimes as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you can be hard on yourself sometimes. But it's having that empathy and to genuinely show care and compassion for other people, and realize that like everyone has their own starting point to their own journey. I mean, whenever I got into this business, because I wanted to help people, and you kind of learn you meet people where they're at, not where you're at on your journey. It's where they're at on their journey, and you help guide them through that personal journey. For me, in this like business that I'm in, it's self-care, understanding that whenever they start looking after themselves, taking care of their health and everything, that helps a lot of other aspects of life as well. So it all for me comes back to that empathy and understanding. For me, that's non-negotiable all day long. So that's a big one for me.
How do you manage the feelings of doubt?
How do I feel or manage feelings of doubt? Suppose for me, feelings of doubt are normal, and everybody gets them and everybody will experience them. I'm kind of acutely aware of where feelings of doubt kind of come from. Again, because it's been through like my own journey, and typically they all come from lack of confidence in yourself. And there's a lot of work that can be done on that, like working on your own level of confidence. And I wouldn't say like I'm particularly big-headed or arrogant in that respect, but I have kind of like a confidence in myself and my own abilities, which comes just through plenty of learning and exploring myself as well. So for me, that's a big thing, and working on the self-confidence, the self-image, the self-esteem, like all of the to do with the self. And for me, that kind of starts to override that feelings of doubt. For me, like whenever I first started all of this, like I have a whole notebook based around like the work that I've done, even on like the likes of my goals and my vision, and working on things to do with my confidence. And I would always ask myself these questions. So what I want to be, what I want to do, or what I want to have. Am I able? Am I willing to do it? And am I replaceable in what I do? And it's really just getting to grips. For me, it was those questions. And sometimes I think that we get into the way of thinking that we are replaceable in what we do, say in a job or whatever. We become like the number in a job role. But actually, whenever you really become the best version of yourself, you automatically become irreplaceable, because you yourself in your best energy and how you're feeling is irreplaceable. And the world needs more of that. So I'm a big believer in that. So yeah.
Is there anything else that you feel would be useful to let potential entrepreneurs know from your own particular point of view?
I suppose the one thing just that I would like to reiterate, like I'm a great believer in anybody has any idea that they have, they can achieve it if they really just set their mind to it, and realize that there is a bit of work in it. But if you don't have the knowledge to do it, just go out and get the knowledge, like learn the course, do that course, do the like anything, do a bit of networking, ask questions around it, find the answers. And if you feel like it's maybe just that you don't really know where to begin, then it is just about asking the questions. There's always plenty of people in those fields that are always willing to help. I mean, there's plenty of good people in the world there. So just start asking the questions, and if find that bit of self-belief, work on that. I suppose like now is probably a good time even for me to say, if anyone really is struggling with that, don't be afraid to reach out. Send me an email or a message through my social medias. I'll get back to anybody who is really stuck with that, and give them a bit of a hand to go that direction. Just don't be afraid, or move in spite of fear. Sometimes fear, you can't really turn it off, but you can work on your own confidence. So just go for it.
So at this point, I would like to give you the option to potentially set a question for my next interviewee. Now, you're not going to know who that is because I can't
Okay.
disclose that at this point, but
That's okay.
it is absolutely up to you. So, do you have something in mind?
Okay, yeah. Well, the one question I suppose that I like to ask a lot of people, and it's not even said just for an interview, it's even for people coming to the gym or the facility here, whatever. The one question worth exploring is what motivates you? That is a big question for a lot of people because if you find your motivator, then you find your drive. So, what motivates you?
At this point, I just want to say, Matthew, thank you very much for all of the time that you've given towards this in preparation, and all the best with the future of your business. You have an absolutely incredible point of view and enthusiasm, and it has been a joy to interview you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.